Hello, it's Carol Van Natta, science fiction author and action and paranormal romance and space opera and whatever else I feel like writing because that's me. So I'm giving a few minutes for people to notice that I'm actually alive and maybe come and join me. That will be fun. I don't always see comments. Facebook tends to hide them from me. So if you're commenting on my fabulous podcast, please don't be insulted if I don't see the comment because Facebook is naughty. So I am going to talk about my new paranormal romance series called Ice Age Shifters. And I'm going to talk about what I'm working on right now. And then I will read to you an excerpt from the first book in my Ice Age Shifter series called Shifter Mate Magic. But first, I'm going to give a little shout out to the Fort Collins Comic-Con Kessel Run. That is the word escaped. A fundraiser and a benefit for the Fort Collins Comic-Con. It's called the Kessel Run. It's May the 4th, of course, Kessel Run. And it's this evening, and it's here in Fort Collins. So if you're somewhere else, I'm sorry about that. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Heath. I don't know who else. I can't. Facebook is very annoying sometimes. So anyway, back to Fort Collins and the Kessel Run. So it's tonight at 5 o'clock, that's the registration. It starts at 5 o'clock, and then the run itself, and it's not really a run, it's kind of a walk around the block, but they don't call it the Kessel Walk, so it's the Kessel Run. Anyway, and people wear appropriate costumes or superhero costumes or any other costumes that they feel like, really, because it's Fort Collins Comic-Con. So anyway, it's lots of fun. And it's all at the downtown library, so they just walk around the block where the library is, and then they have all sorts of activities and costume contests and inside and outdoors and things like that. And it stopped raining here, which is really good, so people will be happy about that. And then it benefits the Fort Collins Comic-Con in August. Now, I will be at that. I won't be at the Kessel Run tonight because of running, and I don't do it. And besides, I've got things to do. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But anyway, the Kessel Run and Fort Collins Comic-Con benefits the library, which in turn benefits the Comic-Con. Oh, it's this lovely synchronicity thingy that just works. So next year, I do hope to plan a little better and entice the resident mad scientist out for the evening because he has this really cool Dr. Doom mask. Because, that's close to Darth Vader, right? I mean, come on. Okay. So, hi, Misty, Stacy, Rasta, who I can never, yes, make your daughter go, Misty, Mr. Poole, Stacy, Raka, Staya. Okay, I'm not going to butcher your name anymore. I'm so sorry, my darling, but do make your daughter go. She'd have fun time. So, first, this is about my Ice Age Shifter series. So, I thought I would tell you about the concept of it because when I tell my friends, oh, look, I've got this neat idea. It's called the Ice Age Shifters. They're like, yeah, I like that idea, but you hate being cold. And it's true. I'm terrible. I hate I love the summer and I hate the winter and stuff like that. But I also love fossils. So the most famous place in North America to see Ice Age fossils is the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles. And I used to live there. And so we went one time and oh man, that was so cool. So there's this hidden subterranean oil seep that created a very treacherous ground that trapped prey animals, which in turn snared predators, which in turn snared the carrion eaters and prehistoric lions and tigers and bears, they all met their very unpleasant end being stuck in the tar pit. And the gooey tar preserved their bones for us to find, and we have been pulling them out and making little exhibits from them ever since. We humans, not me personally, but because I don't have that skill set. But so they've got these great life-size exhibits in there, and it proved to me, because you can get fairly close to them, and it proved to me that I absolutely definitely would not want to be hunted by like an American lion, which is a Panthera atrox, or dire wolves, those are called Canis dirus, or a prehistoric bear called Arctotherium. They all towered over the modern counterparts today, and they had really big teeth and really big claws, and they were built for cold, which is not like me at all. So getting back to now how this came into paranormal romance world is, I've always wanted to write a paranormal romance shifter series, and I wanted one to be a little lighter and more fun than my very exciting but not very light-hearted space opera series. And so when I came across an article about paleontologists who were excavating this extinct type of bear in South America, inspiration struck. What if, in the right circumstances, shifters are born as throwbacks in an earlier time, to an earlier time when the animals were really big and really dangerous? So from that spark, my series was born. Ice Age shifters don't really fit in with modern shifter clans and packs and prides, because they really don't know what to do with these bigger, badder creatures in their midst. Fortunately, however, their true mates do know what to do with them. So Shifter Mate Magic, which is book 1 in my series, comes out in a couple of weeks, actually 11 days, on May 15th. It's up for pre-order, so I think it's probably going to go unless Amazon blows up or something, but there it is. So at the end of this podcast, I'm going to read a little excerpt for you so that you may want to go in and pre-order it or buy it. It would be really cool. So first, though, I promised to tell you about what I am working on at the moment. So last time, I think I told you that I mentioned that Pets in Space is back. That's the science fiction romance anthology. And this year's anthology is called Embrace the Romance, Pets in Space 3. And I am in it. My story is in it, not me personally. So my story is set in my space opera universe, the one where I'm writing the big damn story arc with all the, you've heard this before. So, but my story will be another standalone novella in that space opera universe, and you guys get to know the title before anyone else. It is Cats of War. And as you might imagine, my cats influenced my choice of pet. I got carried away in Pet Trade, which is my book from last year. I had 17 pets there. That was a little much. So there are only 2 in Cats of War, because otherwise it would be just Cat of War. So it's Cats of War. So last year I dressed my cat, not the producer cat that you've met before, but I dressed another one of my cats, who's a pretty good sport, in a homemade dinosaur costume. And I took pictures because it's only fair. So fortunately, like I said, he's a good sport. So I'm going to do something similar this year. Besides, if my cats insist that all space opera is improved with the addition of cats, then they're going to have to help me promote the stories. I mean, that's all there is to it. So there. So yes, Misty, I can't I can't wait for Pets in Space 3 too, because it's I look forward to all these things, and I get really excited, and then I want to read them all at once. And I want somebody to write my stories for me so that I don't actually have to do the writing part. I can just read them. It'd be really cool. Okay, so I promised you the short excerpt from Shifter Mate Magic, which is book 1 of the Ice Age Shifter Paranormal Romance series. So the setting is in a parking lot of an all-night truck stop in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and it is the year 1993. Jackie is the heroine, and she has a lot on her plate at the moment. What with being pregnant and on the run from people who would like to kill her. So this is hardly the time to meet Trevor, the most chivalrous, sexiest man on the planet, even if her body wants her to stay. So that is the setup for this little excerpt from Shifter Mate Magic. They walked together quietly as the parking lot's lights blinked on. His mother must have brought him up right, because he matched his stride to hers and kept a respectful distance. She allowed herself the secret, impossible fantasy that he was her man and she was his woman. Do you have someone you can call? He glanced at her stomach, then away. A mate, maybe? No, thank God. I've had quite enough of shifters for a while. Realizing what she'd said, she added hastily, present company accepted. He shrugged one shoulder, but his mouth twitched with humor. It gave her a wild impulse to do whatever it took to see him really smile, because she just knew he'd be stunning. And she shouldn't be having those thoughts. She was a total basket case. The sun dipped to touch the highest mountains to the west as they arrived at her motorcycle. It looked lonely standing by itself. She shook off the fantasy, then looked up into his beautiful coppery eyes. Thank you again. I was thinking. He tightened his hands into fists in his pockets, making his arm muscles bulge. My semi only has a half load in the trailer. I could put your bike in there and take you someplace safe for the night. She shook her head. That's a gracious offer, but I need to keep moving. She zipped up the jacket to prevent it from flapping in the wind and turned the kerchief around on her neck around so she could pull it up over her mouth to protect against road dust. His eyes darkened. If you're in trouble, maybe I can help. He was making this so hard. If I were in trouble, it would be horribly unfair of me to drag you into it after you kicked Coyote Shifter ass for me. She fished the key out of her pocket and put it in the ignition. I wouldn't mind. His resolute expression hinted at stubborn determination. He glanced to her stomach again. You shouldn't be unprotected. She appreciated his tact. He'd obviously figured out she was pregnant. Shifters could scent that kind of thing immediately. The coyotes should have noticed, but they'd been too drunk on high-test booze and shifter mate lust. I shouldn't be a lot of things, but here I am. So, if you liked that little tidbit and you want to know what happens next, you can pre-order the book for 99 cents right now so you don't forget. But, of course, if you think that pre-orders are the devil's invention, and I don't blame you, sometimes I do too, a release day is only 11 days away from now. And if you're in Kindle Unlimited subscriber, you can read it for free. I read such a deal. Come on. It's a good book. I think so. My beta readers think so. All my family thinks so. Of course, they better. And the cats love it. So, there it is. That is the end of my podcast for the evening. And I'm sorry I'm not seeing anybody else's comments. So if there are other comments, I'm sorry I didn't see them. Facebook hides them. They're horrible that way. And we're going to see, it will be very exciting to see if Facebook actually shows a picture of my face this time when they do the little caption, as opposed to some, I don't know, cubist thing that they do. It's very weird. You can look at previous Facebook videos and see what I'm talking about. We'll see. Fingers crossed. All right. Until next time, have a lovely evening. Go to the Kessel Run if you can. If you can't, then buy my book. Okay? That'd be cool. Thank you. Bye.